This is Karina Dean, and I'm back with another video. I know it's been a long time coming. Lots of different changes have been happening, and I'm really excited to share them with you. Uh, but this video is actually going to be something that I've been meaning to create for a long time. And this video is called Breaking Your Religion. This is based off of a workbook that I wrote in 2016. Well, I started to write it. It's finished, but it really needs a lot more revision because a lot of what I had and all the info I had was helpful, but it's also about my perspective. And that is constantly evolving. So there's even more that I want to add to this workbook, and then I'm going to make it available for you to download and use for yourself. So this workbook is tied to religion, and it takes a different take on it because there's a lot of speculation and things that are going around about people who really have certain ideas about the most popular religions, Christianity, Judaism, Islam, and when people want to let go of religion, they really think that they're banning themselves from these platforms, which can be true. But what I really want to do is bring in the authentic meaning of religion and help you to understand how it's not what you think it is. And a lot of this video is going to help you see how you are abiding by a religion every single day, and you have the power to continue or to break it. Okay, so let's get started because it's a really simple concept, and I just want to get it out there to help introduce the workbook and to help have a better perspective about, the spiritual growth and how much, we really need to understand what religion is and embrace it, not from the ideologies of different teachings. That is on your own freedom and on your own accord, but really understanding what religion is. So the workbook that I created is called Cycle Breakers Astrology, and this workbook is called Unlocking Bethlehem. Now, this entire workbook is bringing religion into perspective to help you understand the sixth house in astrology, because the sixth house is naturally ruled by Virgo, and this is the house of service, and this has a lot to do with what it is that we do on a regular basis. The sixth house. The sixth house is your lifestyle, it's your health, and it's also what your job is, So when you look at the sixth house versus the 10th house, you're looking at the everyday work versus the 10th house, which is your career. And they work together, but they are distinct things. And the sixth house is sometimes the house of suffering because of the concept of the job. And especially in today's world, there's a lot of disconnection that happens between our desires to have a career and what is it that we need to do every day to make bread or to make money. And this is why I created this workbook, because this is tying in a lot of concepts of Virgo ruling over the sixth house, having to do with your everyday work and lifestyle and health. Also, the concept of accounting and counting your money and working to make money, and how that can sometimes be suffering because it may not always be connected to what it is you really want to do with your career, but it can be connected. So if you find that you are disconnected about your lifestyle and your everyday work and understanding your sixth house, then this workbook is going to be for you. And hopefully I'll have it ready, in a couple of months. I do take my time, but I want to make sure that I'm giving you everything that is very well rounded. Okay, so the first 3 to 4, 5 pages is on religion. And the first thing I want to do is use Cycle Breakers astrology to break the ignorance on what we use to tie the ideologies, of the big religions like Christianity, Judaism. We use religion and use that word to describe these ideologies. But the first thing we need to do is break that ignorance. So the best way that I have found to do that is to go into the etymology. Etymology is looking, if you haven't seen other videos on my channel, etymology looks at the origins of the word. Where was it created, who created it, and how they used it, okay? So, breaking your religion. Religion originates from Latin religio, meaning a reverence to the gods. So, yes, it already, is tied to some sort of belief in a higher self, in a higher realm. A reverence is a deep respect for someone and something, and with action, it would be a way you conduct or participate in an activity that demonstrates your admiration, appreciation, and honor towards something or someone. Now, the key with this phrase, a reverence to the God, is really breaking down the phrase. Reverence meaning an act of respect and admiration to something or someone, right? A God has a lot of different meanings too. The Christian God, which we are familiar with from the Greek Christianos or Christos, the anointed one, referring to Jesus of Nazareth. You have the Old English Haaland, which is just a healer, something, or a higher self that cures, that saves, that makes well, that makes whole. In the translation of Hebrew, it's the Messiah or the Messiah. Also Yeshua, these are all connected. Yeshua. So all of these original words of God are connected when you look at the origins to Christianity, to Judaism. But really, you can also look at God as a form of higher self, because if you go behind the history of Christianity and Judaism, and you look at African roots, you'll see that, they didn't use the word God, but they had honor and admiration to, either the Orishas or the nature spirits. So the universal term of God is something that is healing and of a higher frequency, right? That's here to help and guide you, that is pure, that can cure. These are the universal concepts of God. So when we look at the phrase religion being a reverence to the gods, you can see it as, having an altar at church where you are honoring the Christian God. You can see it as the Hebrew gods, or you can see it whatever you choose, but you can also choose to see it as your own God self. You can also see it as your own higher self. You can see it as the nature spirits. You can see it as the Orishas. So what you choose as God still works in this phrase, is what I'm trying to say. So religio, the origins of religion, is having admiration and doing an act of admiration, right, to pay homage to what you see as God. Okay, so let's continue. The Anglo-French translates religion to religion, signifying the meaning of your state of life. Very carefully, your state of life bound by monastic vows. And I'm going to help you break this down as well, because it's the Anglo-French version of religion. Okay? The state of life. So that is your lifestyle, right? And in the levels of which you feel that it is high or good quality. Bound, which means that it's connected to your monastic vows. So what is the word monastic related to? In the word monastic, you see monk, right? And in Greek, monastikos means solitary, when you're alone. Just so when you think about monks, they live in a more isolated and in solitude environments here, right? So that's the first thing that comes to us with the definition of monastic. Okay, breaking it down even more, mono means alone, and the terion, monasterion, which is from another form of monastic, like the place. Terion would be the place. So monos means alone, okay, from the Greek word monas. All right, so when we're looking at the word monastic vows, we're looking at what it is that you do alone. And when we look at the word vow, to make a vow is to speak, right? And almost in an oath, a place of dedication and commitment. So monastic vows is, what is it that you're doing in your own time by yourself? What is it that you're saying in your own time by yourself? The mon in monastic is also connected to the branch word of mon, M-O-N. And I've gone through this in various videos, in the decodings. Like when you look at the word Monday, M-O-N is also connected to the moon. So mon is also connected to the mind, which is also in its own isolated solitude. Okay, so monastic vows are also what is being spoken in your mind. Okay, so going back to the Anglo-French definition of religion, religion, signifying the meaning of your state of life bound by monastic vows, means the quality of life based on what it is that you're doing when you are alone, what it is that you're saying when you are alone, and in your mind, what is it that you're saying to yourself when you are alone. Okay? All right, so your religion is also your religare, and this is what I hear passed around in a lot of conscious communities, and it's actually not being used, from my perspective, responsibly. Looking at the word relegare, right, connected to the word religion, it means to, with the R-E, means repeat, okay, and legare, Legere, means to read. Okay, so relegare is what you're doing in thought and in your reading and what you're repeating every day. Okay, this is why I use this workbook to connect to your sixth house, because it's all connected. I always find that everything is connected. So the sixth house has to do with your daily lifestyle, right? Ruled by Virgo, which has to do with your health, state of life, quality of life. Okay, Virgo in the sixth house is also due to your accounting, your job, how it is that you work to make money, or in exchange for money. And this also has a lot to do with your quality of life. And sometimes this is where we find that we have a lower quality of life because we're not necessarily doing a job, or doing work or having a lifestyle that is really healthy for us, that's meaningful and fulfilling for us. So also consider the word ligare, which is to bond and to bind, thinking of the ligaments in the human body. So it's really important to understand that religion is used irresponsibly. It's been tied, it's been tied because it is literally has roots in being alone and roots in being bound and and like a bind, like the ligaments in the body. So whenever you use the word religion, itself has an energy that has to be tied to something. And so maybe even just with this word, it has been tied to the popular ideologies. The true meaning of religion is about what it is that you are doing every day. What is it that you are repeating every day? What is it that you are saying to yourself, reading, consuming every day? That is your religion. And if you truly want to have a more fulfilling sixth house, you can look at your chart and examine your sixth house. But also remember that the religion is going to have to be a reverence to your gods. So this works for everybody: Christian, Muslim, Jewish, astrologer, whatever it is that you choose to bind yourself to. Okay? Your God is what it is that you are making a reverence to in your religion. So let's say that your religion, what you do every day, is get up every morning and have coffee. That is a repeated thing that you might have. And the question is who is your God when you are making this repeated action? So that's how I'm using this to help you really be able to take your habits and your rituals that you do every day, because ritual is not just what you say, okay, well, it's the full moon, it's the new moon, and now, I'm going to do a ritual. A ritual is something that you are constantly doing. And some of the best, speakers and success people who don't even speak on spirituality will say that, and will make sure that you understand that your rituals are like your habits. So what it is that you do on a repeated basis is tied to your rituals, your habits, and your religion. Okay, so going back to the reverence to the gods, taking your rituals and your habits up a different notch. Okay, taking your rituals and your habits up to a level in which they are in admiration to whatever it is that you consider a supreme being will help to enhance your sixth house. And thus begins breaking the mold of this even being something of suffering. And the only reason that it is suffering is because it is mundane. It's every day. And if you're a person that doesn't really do well with what you have to do every day, then this will trouble you, or maybe you're somebody who likes a lot of excitement, and you like a lot of variety and you have to do certain things every day, and that might create some suffering. So whoever it is that you are, there are certain things that you do every day, whether it's, like I said, drink coffee, exercise every day, whether it's get on Facebook every day. Even if you're a person that's like, oh yeah, like I like to have variety in my life, one thing that you may not notice is that you are participating in a repetitive ritual every day, and that has bounding and binding to truly what is your quality of life. So if you want to have a more exciting life, look at what it is that you are doing every day that helps to push you in that direction. So that took a lot longer than I wanted it to, but I hope that this is a great introduction to this workbook that I'm creating, Breaking the Sixth House. I call it Breaking Bread in the House of Virgo because of its connection. Everything's connected. The story of Bethlehem is connected to the sixth house, and I go into the workbook. And I love that I could find the connection about breaking bread, because the sixth house can be seen as the house of bread as well. And bread is also your money when you look at today's modern lingo. So everything it's amazing how you can find connections. And that's part of my religion. But what I want to say to you about this channel is that it's not going to be about giving you astrology transits and decoding people all the time. As I work this workbook, I'm doing it on my own life. And that's what and why I do the work that I do on here, is because I am documenting my process. So, what I have for you is information that I have been able to take in, and I'm actively working on it. And then I bring it to you to say, okay, well, this is what I have learned. So, tell me your thoughts about what I've talked about religion, about what you do every day. Tell me what it is that you'd like to really see and enhance in your life in homage to what is your God, even if that's your own higher self or your own supreme being, and let's start this conversation. The workbook will be out very soon, and it will be for free, in which you can download it. It goes into your astrology, it goes into your numerology, it talks about religion. Its purpose is kind of just to break religion altogether and reintroduce you to the concept of religion and the concept of the Christian stories and it's bringing in astrology. So I don't use my work to negate anything. If anything, I use my work to bring in the connections. So if you're a Christian, you can read this book. If you're studying astrology, you can read this book. If you're studying numerology, you can use this book. It's all to help bring bring it all together. Okay? This is your girl, Karina Dean. I'm signing off. Peace and love. And I will see you in the next video.